Good morning. How y'all doing? Excellent, very good. We're so excited to be here at Carnegie Vanguard. I love Carnegie Vanguard. Mr. Moss will tell you, I have visited Carnegie Vanguard over the years many, many times, and I remember going out to the old Carnegie Elementary when Carnegie Vanguard was out there and walking around and thinking, you know, this is my type of place. If I'd have been a student, I would have wanted to go to Carnegie Vanguard. Mr. Moss, I'm not sure I could have gotten in, but I would have tried really hard. So, yeah, there you go. Here, you already said I couldn't get in. I'm already honorary. I'm Bob Sanborn. I'm President and CEO of Children at Risk. And every year we do, for the last 19 years, we do school rankings all over the state of Texas. We look at data for every single public school in the state of Texas, and we look at who's doing well, especially who's doing well with low-income kids coming from low-income families, and we do this rating. 19 years ago, we started this, and I remember I was at Rice University a couple years before that, and Rice paid a lot of attention to the U.S. News and World Report rankings. And I paid a lot of attention also to football rankings. I loved looking to see who is number one and who's doing well. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to bring that sort of passion to schools, public schools in Texas, so that people sort of look to see who's doing well. Moreover, what we really wanted was to see that parents and students and all of those interested in public education could really demand more of public officials, right? So we could see how our schools are doing and then ask our state legislature to take action, because the belief is that public education is the great equalizer, right? This is what gets our population going. And I was a first-generation college student, and if it would not have been for public education, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I think there's a lot of people like that in our community. And so we have to pay attention to public education. And so when we come to a school like Carnegie Vanguard, we see this beautiful place, but moreover, we see the excellence and the high academic performance, and in a sense, that's what we all want out of public education. We want that great school, the great staff. We want, you know, principals like Mr. Moss on a good day, and we want things to really work well for our students so that they can get ahead. And so we do these rankings to see who is doing well, and who do we need to demand more of, and who do we need to go after at the state legislative level to say, why aren't you paying attention to public education? Because we need to pay attention to public education. Overall, in the state of Texas, when we look at our rankings and we look at the performance of schools, we see the impact of the pandemic. The pandemic had this really huge impact on schools. There's a lot of learning loss going on. We saw some schools that did pretty well, but we saw the majority of schools sort of fall behind. We still see that impact today as we look at the rankings. Since we started this in 2005, we saw slow progress, especially amongst families of low-income kids and low-income kids coming from families that were not making as much money as others. And we saw a slow academic progress, every year a little bit better. This was the first year that we didn't see that progress in children from low-income families. We saw a plateau in some cases. In some areas, we saw a decrease. But for us, this is the real thing that is really distressing in a way, right? After slow progress, we're not doing as well as we wanted to do. Moreover, when we look at the reasons for this, I think two things: the pandemic, but secondly, the inaction on the part of a state legislature. In light of the pandemic, our state legislature had a surplus of $33 billion. None of it went to public education. Teacher raises did not happen. So a lot of things that they should have been paying attention to as they look to the future of Texas, they were sort of leaving this all behind. And so I think that when we look at the performance of our schools, we can blame it on the pandemic, but we also have to talk to our state legislature and say, why aren't you doing the things that you need to do? I think that's really, really important. If we were giving the state of Texas a grade, since we're giving schools a grade, if we were giving the state of Texas a grade on overall schools, the overall quality of schools in Texas would rate about a C. And for a state where 1 out of every 10 children born in America, 10% of all the kids born in America, born in the state of Texas. We have the second largest number of public school students in the entire country. For a state to get a C for that great big part of America, I think that's a red flag for us. We need to be doing more to demand of our state. I think when we talk about teachers, our state has refused to, or at least to put on hold, investing in teachers. And I think that's an important part of the success here. When you get a C, you better start investing in your teachers. You better start investing in pre-K. You better start investing in good leaders. And those are the things that Texas is not doing. Total enrollment of public school kids in the state of Texas is 5 million. There are 5 million children in our public schools. That's more students than in 21 states combined total. When we look at the number of schools that we ranked, 7,213 schools, about 4,000 elementaries, 2,000 middle schools, and close to 1,300 high schools. When we look specifically at demographics, in Houston, 70% of the students in the greater Houston area are coming from low-income families. When we look at language, original language, 21% of students attending public schools in the Houston area are emergent bilingual or English language learners. When we look at children who are immigrants or children of immigrants, we're talking about 50% of our children. Many of you here today are children of immigrants. And I think that when we look at our state, we need to pay attention to this idea. If in Houston, 50% of our kids are children of immigrants or immigrants themselves, if we look across the state, a third of all of our children are immigrants or children of immigrants. And then we have a state that's paying attention to how do we demoralize and how do we weaponize and villainize immigrants. I think we need to stop doing that and look to our future, because this is not something that as a state we should probably be doing. One of the things that we also do is we do gold ribbon schools. And gold ribbon schools are high-performing, high-poverty schools, schools that get an A or a B, but when we look at their student population, over 75% are coming from low-income families. Last year, when we did the rankings, there were 72 of those schools in Houston. This year, only 51. And this is something that we're seeing all across the state, where there's this drop in the number of gold ribbon schools, and it's something that we have to reverse. When we look specifically at Houston in terms of enrollment, 1/4 of all the children in public schools in the state of Texas are in the greater Houston area. If we add Dallas to that, that's half of all the school children in Texas either go to school in Houston or in Dallas. And when we look at the rankings overall, 10% of the schools in the greater Houston area did get an A, 22% got a B, 31% got a C, 27% a D, and 10% an F. And so we look at these schools and we think, how do we do better? Houston, when we compare it to the rest of the state, we know that Houston historically, and especially Houston ISD, have been top performers, right? So when we compare against other cities, Houston is usually one of the places that we look to for innovation and things going right. That has dropped this year. And we see Dallas doing a little bit better, and no one in Houston likes it when Dallas is doing better. But the number one place in the state, the place that really is sort of doing way better than everyone else, is the Rio Grande Valley. And here we have the highest level of poverty, the highest number of low-income kids, yet they continue to excel. They also have the highest level of teacher retention. And so we see a lot of things going right in the Rio Grande Valley that should really serve as an example for us in terms of what we really need to be doing. So the call to action that we have around this is that pay attention to the pandemic, pay attention to what this Texas legislature is doing. Our state should really be focusing on that 70% in Houston, the 2/3 across the state that are coming from low-income families. We have a group of very bright kids in Houston. We have a group of very bright kids in our state, and we're not doing the things necessary. The state is not doing the things necessary to make sure that those kids are successful. When we compare this year to last year, we have over 100,000 new children that are low-income kids. This is an area that's growing in our state, and we have to be paying attention to it. Another thing that we noticed, a trend that we noticed, is that there are increasing numbers of homeless children in our state. We're certainly seeing that at the elementary level in numbers that we hadn't really seen before. So it's something that we really need to pay attention to. The other thing that I always like to talk about, especially since we have students here, is the importance of engagement. And we want parents to be engaged not only at the school level, but at the legislative level. And we have a lot of parents engaged in Houston. And while Mike Miles is not here, he knows that a lot of the engagement is engaged against him. But I think at one level, Superintendent Miles understands that any level of engagement means that people are active, people are paying attention, people are caring, and that's very, very important. I think the other level of engagement that I'm going to ask of you guys is to make sure that as you become of age that you vote. When we look across the state of Texas, there are two groups that historically undervote in our state: young people and Latinos. And you guys represent, at the very least, young people, groups that aren't voting in the same numbers at the same levels as young people are doing in other states. And if you don't vote, and I hear a lot of times, well, you know, I don't really like any of the candidates, I'm not interested in politics. If you don't vote, it's old white guys in Waco that are going to be deciding for you what happens. And so you need to vote. You need to be doing the things possible so that schools, public education are getting the money. I think that's a real important thing for us. Let's go right to our schools and to see who's doing well within our schools. And so every year when we do this, we have a number of press conferences to focus on who are the top performers. So I'm going to go first to high schools with the top high schools in our area. And we have the #1 school of each here. So in high schools, the #5 high school in the greater Houston area, Challenge Early College High School, Houston ISD. You can do polite applause, guys, that's okay. The #4 high school, also from HISD, Eastwood Academy. The #3 high school in the greater Houston area, from Alief ISD, Alief Early College High School. The #2 high school is also in Houston ISD. It's the Young Women's College Prep Academy. They're #2. And I'll say this about Young Women's Prep. When we look across the state, we see these Young Women's Prep high schools that are all doing very well. The top schools in Austin, in San Antonio, in Dallas. So they're doing very, very well. We know that single-sex learning for women is fantastic. The #1 high school in the greater Houston area, Carnegie Vanguard. And now representing Carnegie Vanguard, Mr. Moss.
Good morning, everybody. We are very appreciative of this recognition, so thank you, Dr. Sanborn, and all of your staff at Children at Risk. We appreciate the hard work that you do. And, we're just elated. Thank you to the media who's here. And we also have various officials from the Central Division of HISD. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all your support. When you talk about engagement, we have a wonderful parent population and an exceptional PTO. We have a phenomenal administration here. I see you in the room. A wonderful staff, faculty that is just spectacular as well. They know the content and they deliver that with ease. Thank you, all of our faculty. And then this last group, these persons are so internally, intrinsically motivated to do well. I want to give a big shout out to all of our students. Congratulations, we did this. Thank you again.
How long you been with Carnegie, Ramon?
This is my 20th year.
20 years, wow. And you still look like you're like 25 years old, so. Yeah, he needs, yeah, exactly. Let's go to the top middle schools in the greater Houston area. From Katy ISD, #5 Beckendorf Junior High School. Number 4 from Houston ISD, Briar Meadow Charter. Number 3 from Spring Branch ISD, Cornerstone Academy. Number 2 from Houston ISD, the Mandarin Immersion Magnet School. And the number 1 middle school from Houston ISD, represented today by Principal Tiffany Chenier, T.H. Rogers. Tiffany, say a few words.
Good morning. What an exciting moment and event. And there are some former T.H. Rogers Rams in the audience. Kudos to you. I just want to start by saying I am very, very honored and humbled to accept this award on behalf of our incredible T.H. Rogers School community. A big thank you to you, Dr. Sanborn, and Children at Risk, for taking the time to recognize and to rank schools, all with the goal in mind to improve outcomes for students throughout our state. This is not about me, though I am the one accepting. This is about our incredible, amazing teachers, faculty, and staff, our administrative team, and our T.H. Rogers Rams. I am also in very good company, so congratulations to the other schools in the area that have earned high rankings. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, our top 5 elementary schools in the area. Number 5, T.H. Rogers. Tiffany, very good. And I think we have... there you go. You don't have to.
Cade School, yes.
Excellent. The number 4 elementary from Katy ISD, Griffin Elementary. The number 3 elementary from Stafford, Stafford STEM Magnet Academy. The number 2 elementary from Lamar Consolidated ISD, Bess Campbell Elementary. And the number 1 elementary, and their principal's not here today, but from Fort Bend ISD, Commonwealth Elementary. Give them all a big hand. I want to talk now about our gold ribbon schools. A number of years ago, we decided that we would do a special category for gold ribbon schools because every educator here today knows that the toughest job in public education is taking a school of majority low-income kids and then making them successful, really making sure that you could pave a road, pave a way to success for every single one of those kids. And these are traditionally those first-generation students, these first-generation students that will go to college, and these schools do a tremendous job. We have 2 of the principals here today to talk a little bit about this. First, Gold Ribbon Middle Schools. There's 2 that we have as a standout. Edward Roberson Middle School from Spring ISD. We want to give them recognition. And then the top gold ribbon middle school, represented today by Principal Frank Brown from Galveston ISD, Austin Middle School. Principal Brown, come on up.
Just like everyone else, I'd like to say thank you for this great recognition on behalf of Austin Middle School. Again, like she said, it's not about us, it's about the hard work and dedication of our staff and our students. And one of my philosophies is what happens in the classroom matters most. And so this is a payoff for what hard work will do. So congratulations to Austin Middle School and our great district, Galveston ISD. Thank you.
Frank, what's the percentage of low-income kids that you have within your school, within Austin?
It's right about 75% of low socioeconomic students at our campuses.
Yeah,
yes.
you still made an A or B, which is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, appreciate it.
Congratulations, yes. And now we're going to go to the top gold ribbon elementary schools in our area. At number 5 from Angleton ISD, Southside Elementary. Number 4 from Houston ISD, Moreno Elementary. Number 3, from Conroe ISD, Reeves Elementary. The number 2 school, from Klein ISD, Nitch Elementary. And then number 1, from Houston ISD, represented today by Principal Samira Rogers, the great Pleasantville Elementary.
Probably the shortest one, sorry. Very, very grateful to be here. Thank you to Houston at Risk. We are a small but mighty elementary school located in East Houston, and I have to give all the credit really to my team, my teachers, my staff, my students. We are truly a school family, and that energy is exuded by the performance of our students. We plan to continue to work hard and continue to exceed the expectations. Would also like to give great thanks to the Central Division of Houston ISD for all of their support as we move forward and continue to try to do the best that we absolutely can at the hidden gem of the East, Pleasantville Elementary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. I thought for a few words we'd bring up Kristen Hull. She's the Chief Academic Officer for Houston ISD. And please give a big, warm welcome to Chief Hull.
Hello, everyone. Just 3 quick things. First and foremost, huge congratulations to these principals, these campus administrators, these teachers, and these students for such an excellent showing in this award. So first of all, another round of applause. We ask a lot of them every day in and out, and they continue to exceed expectations, and it's a very exciting thing to see when we show up at these campuses. The second thing I'll say is these types of rankings and awards, they really show that across HISD overall, when we're looking at last year's data, it stresses the importance of the fact that we still need to focus on quality instruction for all schools at HISD. So these are great exemplars, but across the board, that's what we need to be focusing on in our schools. Last week, we spent, teachers and students across HISD took a middle of the year test, and the good news is that progress is looking good, and that's across, averaging across all of our schools. So just really want to focus on that high quality instruction and know that we are on the right track. And then the last point I want to share is HISD is an open enrollment district, and so regardless of where you live, many families have the option to apply to schools all over HISD. That application process opened on Thursday the 18th. It's open until February 23rd, and so for parents to know, they have the option, if their students are eligible, to attend many of these great campuses across the district. So we just want to share that for parents out there listening, and again, congratulations one more time on the great success.
I know teachers have been thanked a number of times here, but I think it goes without saying that most of us would not be successful were it not for a teacher or a group of teachers that really went above and beyond to make sure that we were successful. And our state really does need to act on that. We want to make sure we have great teachers. We want to make sure that we have teachers in good schools, and we want to make sure that kids are successful. One of the things that we often look at is what happens with our kids, when they graduate. Where are they going? And I think Carnegie's a good place to ask. How many of you give a little cheer if you're going to U of H after you graduate? So there's two of them. Yeah. All right. How about UT? Oh, another small. A&M? Okay, one little whoop in the back. Rice? Oh yeah, that's just crickets on Rice. Ivy League? All right, a couple. All right. I'm obviously missing some. California, anyone going to California in general? A couple of you, right? So, all right. And some of you don't know because you're juniors, sophomores, or freshmen. Very good. Thank you guys very much, and congratulations to Carnegie Vanguard being number 1. And I want to thank all the principals for your hard work. Thank you guys very, very much. And congratulations to all the rankings, the schools that ranked really highly today. And thank you guys. Thank you so much.